honor to be here. All you Ron Paul supporters, please stay seated. You know, Tony, I noticed all the patriotic music was being played and they had presidents pop up there. I didn't see Barack Obama up there. Good idea. I have 5 minutes, which is more time than Lincoln used during the Gettysburg Address, so I should be fine. And I want to thank FRC for doing what they're doing tonight. I don't normally give little speeches, but I'll go anywhere and do anything and walk on broken glass for Ed Meese. You'll probably hear similar themes throughout, but President Ronald Reagan once said that if Ed Meese is not a good man, there are no good men. And when President Reagan nominated Ed Meese to the position of Attorney General, President Reagan said, "Ed is not only my trusted counselor, he is also a person whose life and experience reflect a profound commitment to the law and a consistent dedication to the improvement of our justice system." And when summing up Ed Meese's service as Attorney General years later, President Reagan said in a national radio broadcast, "I'd like to recognize a public servant of dedication and integrity who's been a close friend for over 20 years. As counselor at the White House, as Attorney General, Ed Meese worked for stricter sentencing to put dangerous criminals behind bars and also for greater resources for drug enforcement and to fight organized crime." And he said, in a system usually focused on the criminal, Ed Meese never forgot the victims of crimes or their rights. He said, as Attorney General, Ed Meese led our effort to appoint highly qualified federal judges who would crack down on crime and also faithfully interpret the Constitution. He led our Justice Department as it aggressively defended civil rights. In fact, Reagan said, this administration has achieved more convictions for civil rights violations than any previous administration. In fighting terrorism, Attorney General Meese worked closely with our allies to detect, apprehend, and prosecute those who wage war on innocent members of free societies. President Reagan was right. Even more, the whole debate about originalism versus judicial activism was launched by then Attorney General Ed Meese. It is a debate that has fundamentally altered the constitutional landscape of this nation. It is a debate that now occurs in courtrooms, in academia, and even in the streets. It is a debate that should never have been necessary, but today is at the heart of our survival, as Ed Meese knew over a quarter century ago when he launched it. And in this, Ed Meese was echoing the Founding Fathers, all of them. On June 12, 1823, Thomas Jefferson wrote a friend that, quote, "On every question of construction, carry ourselves back to the time when the Constitution was adopted. Recollect the spirit manifested in the debates, and instead of trying what meaning may be squeezed out of the text or invented against it, conform to the probable one in which it was passed," unquote. It would be enough if Ed's legacy could be seen in the federal judiciary, which is populated by his progeny. It would be enough if Ed's legacy could be seen in the halls of the superb Heritage Foundation and the brilliant work produced there, but his legacy is even more profound. The word originalism and the demand for constitutionalism that were all but lost are now the rallying cry of millions and millions of patriots who make up the Tea Party movement. They've been repeated at rallies by citizens who hail from small towns and large. They appear on their signs and posters. They are raised with elected officials at town hall meetings where citizens demand to know the constitutional authority for one government transgression after another. They are discussed at the dinner table the local coffee shop, and on talk radio. For the people have come to understand, more than any time since the states originally ratified the Constitution, that the preservation of their liberties and rights require the restoration and reestablishment of our constitutional system. There is no other way. And the modern founding father of this movement is Ed Meese. There's much more I could say about Ed, and much more I would like to say. But let me summarize my feelings this way. Other than my wonderful father, I have never been so honored to know another man as well, and has been blessed to know Ed Meese. He is a model citizen and statesman to all of us. His decency, morality, kindness, generosity, and humility are known by all who've spent time with him, whether they be presidents and prime ministers or interns and janitors. He is the same principled man in private as he is in public, and under pressure or in easier times. I've seen it up close, not just as his former chief of staff, but as his friend. When others would panic under the most vicious political and media attacks imaginable, Ed would remain strong and steadfast, demonstrating by actions and words his commitment to what was right and proper. When others wanted to take the easy course in this city and abandon President Reagan's legal and judicial agenda, Ed Meese refused. And where others were disloyal and self-aggrandizing, Ed was loyal and selfless, for that is who he is. And no force on earth, especially the liberals, were going to change him. For conservatives in the Reagan administration and across the nation, Ronald Reagan was our commander-in-chief, and Ed Meese was and remains our general. And we are eternally grateful. Finally, it is not possible to honor Ed Meese without honoring his beloved wife, Ursula. Through some truly wonderful times and truly terrible times, they've always had each other. They've always loved each other. They've always complimented each other. And their beautiful and accomplished children and grandchildren who adore them have always come first. Ed, you've been my mentor for more than 25 years, and if anyone has objection about how I behave or what I say, you can blame him. I'm your biggest fan. God bless you, sir.